The views expressed on the Badge to the Bone podcast, while often accurate and sometimes even funny, are not intended to represent the official positions of any law enforcement, public safety agency, or their employees. So lighten up. This podcast contains mature themes, strong language, violence, and nudity. Okay, maybe not the last two. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Badge to the Bone. I'm Denny.
I'm Al.
And yes, we are back as promised. We've got part 2 with Rick. We are ready to kick it off, Al.
Yep, I'm really looking forward to this.
All right, so more to the story, and we're going to go ahead and jump right on in.
So, Rick, thanks for sticking with this.
Heck yeah, man. It's a great time to be invited back again to the HQ to wrap this up.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate having you back. I think your story is, we don't want to cut it short, you know, and I don't want to cut you short from what you have to say, and I think everything that you talk about is important. I think the whole picture is important. So,
well, the thing is, it's unique to you, but yeah, unfortunately, it's not unique to our job.
It's not, you know, and the thing is, I think people listening, it is unique to you, but I know for a fact there's going to be other first responders listening going, man.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me, that was me.
Was me. I went through that shit, or I'm going through that now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's going to be so much going on. I'm going through that now. Hopefully that's who we're going to reach. You know, maybe they'll reach out to us, or they'll reach out to who they need to get, you know, back on track. It's so important. But I think when we left you last, you talked a lot about things, you know, for lack of better words, went off the rails and got really tough. But then you talked about kind of a pivotal moment where things kind of changed and you'd met someone.
Yeah, that was the gestalt, you know, that brought everything back into focus again, you know, and made me realize that even though I thought I had lost everything, I thought I was completely done at that point. I thought it was over. I had nothing left. Yeah, I you know, I say this and I've told several people in several different places, like, if it wasn't for her, yeah, I probably would have, like, just continued going down that road. Like, and if it wasn't for her for making me see that things can be different, things can be better.
Now, how did you end up meeting? How if you don't mind me asking that?
I don't know.
How did that come to be?
The craziest thing is, like, we had actually dated, like, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, something before I even moved down. Yeah, we knew each other back then, and I'm not going to lie, I was madly in love. I thought she was, like, the best ever. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know that it was like this, you know.
I like you a lot.
Yeah, I was doing, yeah, you can imagine. I know you say there's no nudity involved, but I don't want to get too graphic, but yeah, there were pieces and parts that were rubbing in places that, yeah.
Would you turn off the computer now?
No, this is the good stuff.
Come on, I just broke out the mayonnaise. No, seriously, like, both of us knew back then. Even back then, we knew that we were like, oh, hey. Why is this microphone sticky?
That's the special microphone.
We have really started this episode
That scares
right
me.
in the gutter. We're not even plane crashing down. We started off on a crash.
We're going like what scares me is, like, this is supposed to be like I mean, if I can reveal some stuff
Of
here.
course.
No, please.
Yeah.
Why stop now?
Not on this show.
I don't mind talking about me and my issues, but, like, your issue here, like, I know this is what episode. This will be what, episode 4 or 5, somewhere around there. Like the first 3 blew me away. So to be here is amazing. But, like, like, you brought me in. I'm like, I think I'm going to be like the first special guest.
You
person
are.
That comes
You
out.
are.
You are.
Like, don't put any fucking pressure on me or anything like that.
There's
Just
a
like,
lot of pressure on you.
and like, it's new mic and it's sticky already. That kind of makes me wonder what the hell's going on here for the first 3 episodes.
Al brought that mic.
It's
That's-
special. It's very special.
I thought I smelled that before.
Yeah, we use that mic for your initiation as well. We haven't gone over that yet.
Gosh,
All right, back on track. So,
So this person is wonderful.
yes, and her name is Carrie, and she is phenomenal.
I can vouch for that.
She has completely made me change, and that's what I knew. Is I saw someone that I had a connection with a long time ago, and I knew that, like, there's a reason why she's back here now. That it's not just a coincidence. There's a reason why this happened when it happened. And, call it whatever you want to call it, but it wasn't an accident. There was a reason why she showed up when she showed up. And really made me look at myself and say, God damn, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? Because I was at the point where I'd look in the mirror and I'm like, I do not know who the hell this guy is. I don't recognize me. And the person that I'm looking at in the mirror is like, this guy is a disgusting, slimy piece of shit bastard. Like, what are you doing, man? You know better than this. And finally, it all hit. Everything fell out. All the bottoms, everything that I could have done. I had, like I said before, like last time, and I had alienated every single person that I possibly could have. And here's this beautiful, amazing creature who thinks I am something that is worthy of her attention. And I knew that I couldn't destroy that too. I finally realized that there's a point here now that I've got to take care of some shit that I need to take care of. Yeah, that's when I finally got serious. There was a phenomenal psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever whatever his magnificent titles are. He's a great guy. And I've known about him for years and years and years, never actually met him, and finally I knew that I had to pick up the phone.
We might know that guy.
You may know that guy.
I have a feeling we do.
And I finally gave him a call, and didn't hesitate. Told him what was going on. Boom, set something up for me, got me down in there. And it was funny because I've been going to the department shrink, I've been going to the EAP shrink, I've been doing all this stuff, and I'm sitting in his office the first time, and I'm like, we start talking. We're just, playing like Jewish geography, who do you know where type thing, that kind of thing, and going through everything. Sorry, it's the New Yorker in me.
Can you translate that from New York?
Yeah, I just said, who do you know where? This guy over here. I know a guy who knows a guy at a thing in a place over there. We're gonna go talk to him.
I'm sorry, I don't speak New York.
So we're like 15 minutes in, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God. And I stopped, and I'm like, I'm really sorry. I'm like, here, and I had my knife in my pocket, and that's like the big no. You got to take all weapons out and do all this stuff. I'm like, I'm really sorry. Here, this is in my pocket, and he takes it, and he looks at it. And he's like, was this a gift or something? He's like, oh, cool. This is a great knife. And I was like, no, I brought a weapon into your office. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And he's like, I don't want to say I don't bring his personal stuff into it, but like he ended up showing me one of his weapons, and he's like, no, I've got this and that and other. And we're like, and that's kind of like when he made the connection. And I'm like, holy crap, this guy actually does get some things and understand some things. And, even then, I'm sure that he'll come on here, and I know he's bound by things and whatnot, but I know for probably the first 4 or 5 times there, he knew I was bullshitting him. He knew that, I knew what I was supposed to do, but he knew I was bullshitting. He knew that I was still dodging around and not wanting to take the responsibility and actually step up and do things. And I think,
Yeah.
I could tell. I'm like, I knew it. I could read him just as well as he could read me. And eventually, I just kind of, that gave me the impetus to realize that it wasn't bad. And then seeing him, there was another friend of mine who recommended something. And I went ahead and I took a look at that very seriously and decided, well, I'll give it a try. And it was a group that was guys that came back from, I was really surprised they wanted me involved in this, but it was a bunch of guys that came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and combat guys. Now, these guys were, they were what I pretended I was, because I'll admit it, I'm 50 years old now. Like, I still thought I was Billy Badass. I thought I was still tough and everything like that. And here's these guys that are like, mid 20s, 30s. Some of the senior guys were, senior NCOs. They were in their mid 30s and stuff. And I'm like, I feel like a fucking poser with these guys. These guys are out here fucking. They're over the sandbox. They're out running around the hills in Kandahar and shit like that. And I'm like, I'm just sitting back not saying anything. And one of these guys says, "Hey man, so what's the deal with you? What's going on?" So I'm like, I feel like a fucking faked me in here. And they're like, "Why?" And I told them what's going on, told them the things that I was doing and the things that I had seen and got in. And I don't need to bring those things up here. Nobody needs to hear the shit that I saw. I wish I didn't see it. But anyway, I told those guys because, they had told me some, wow, they really blew me away. And they looked at me and they're like, so, dude, that's like, crazy. How do you, and I'm like, dude, that's nothing compared to what you guys were doing. You guys are over there fighting for our freedoms and doing this. And the one guy who was, he wasn't the oldest guy in the group. He was one of the younger kids, and he looks at me. Kids. I mean, the guy was a badass. He's a man. There's no question. But he looks at me, and he's like, dude, I knew I was coming home in 13 months. You're here dealing with it at home. You never get to go home.
It's strange because, I had a conversation almost exactly like that with a good buddy of mine who's combat wounded, retired as a result, just hardcore infantry guy. And, and we've shared a lot. He's shared a lot over numerous years. And at some point we're having this conversation and talking to me like I am an equal with him. And I know the things this man has done. And he goes, well, he said something almost the same. Like, well, we came home, at a certain point we came home. We may rotate back, but we came home. You guys are always on. And you, and to even be put in that same bucket with them, from them is still just mind blowing.
Yeah. And then
I can't even believe it. But I mean, it's an honor, but at the same time, it's like terribly humbling.
Oh yeah, dude. That's I think that's what broke me. That finally let everything come down. That I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm a fake here.
Well, one of the I think one of the misnomers or one of the mistakes we make when you're dealing with trauma and stuff you experienced is you're trying to compare what somebody else went through, and then you look back and go, shit, why am I messed up? Look what they did. And I went through that with some conferences. I heard from, a trooper was one of the first, or I think he was the first on scene to Sandy Hook. Yeah. Then I listened to I believe he was a lieutenant, either lieutenant or captain, but he was on a peer support team. Mm-hmm. Las Vegas Metro PD responded to to that horrible shooting they had there at the Route 1 or the Route concert there. But, he responded that for a peer support role and that scene, and I'm hearing those things and going, jeez, that's some major shit, how am I going to be messing with just, this stuff? But you cannot measure it. You can't say that, well, I've only experienced this, so it shouldn't affect me. It's all bad.
Right. And it's
all impactful.
And
it's all harmful.
It's sometimes it's a lot of big events. Sometimes it's, as we've said before, that drip, drip, drip over time. But yeah.
Well, it's how it hits you. I mean, you could go to a murder-suicide and, I've been to several of those, unfortunately, and go to it, and you not think a whole lot about it and not really sit with you. But then you could go to a motor vehicle crash, a single fatality, and for some reason, something about that crash resonates with you, whether it's the car looks familiar to someone or the person that was either severely injured or deceased reminds you of, you don't know how it's going to.
Or it may not be any of those things. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
I mean, just speaking from my own experience, sometimes it's just that struggle to come home and turn off.
Right.
You know,
But I went through that where I was too busy comparing, going, man, well, I shouldn't be messed up. This is ridiculous.
right,
I'm like you said, I'm a poser. Why am I messed up? And these guys
right.
went to these major events.
People have done
but-
far more and
right.
experienced far worse than I ever.
But it's
will.
all
who,
your
who-
perspective.
Who am I to be a little pussy right now and crying my fucking beer and be like, oh, this poor me? But
It's
yeah.
all perspective.
It
Like you say,
is.
as far as the guy from the military, like you say, he's looking at it going, shit, you got to do this every day at home.
No, the ones that will tell you, like guys that have gone, seen actual combat and go, I wouldn't do what you did.
Yeah.
And
I've
I'm like,
had people
wait,
tell me that too. Yeah.
What?
well, and that
You'll die
What?
shrapnel at your ass for a year, but you won't come do this.
I don't want somebody lobbing RPG rounds at me.
you bring that up too. Like I always felt like I was second team because I was in a corrections based agency. I was out there doing shit on the street. I was doing the job that everybody does. I didn't do it full time, but I mean, I was putting in. I was putting in 30, 40 hours a week in off duty,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was doing it full time, but I always did. I always felt, I'm like, dude, these are my buddies, the people I'm hanging out with, and they're fucking badasses. They're doing this shit. And I always felt like I was like behind almost,
Right.
like,
Oh yeah.
hey, I'm not cool enough. Like you guys are like you're A team and I'm like JV over here,
Right.
And then I hear that from those guys and they look at me and like people I really, really admire, people that I knew, and they were like, dude, I wouldn't do your job if they paid me $1 million a year. Are you kidding me? And they say that, like you say with the experience, it does. It basically, we have to go ahead and everybody's unique. I hate to be one of those, oh, peace, love, and happiness and all the bullshit, whatever. No, everybody's got their own damn
Anybody
thing.
that knows you know this.
Yeah, they'd know right now. I'm like, your feelings? Fuck your feelings. I could give two shits. I could care less. If I wait long enough, maybe a fuck will fall out of the sky and land in my hand, and I can give it to you, and then I can tell you what I think about your feelings. But no, they say that like the average person sees 2 critical incidents over the course of a lifetime. Whereas I took some notes from watching you doing stats, the other podcast one, because not only am I a guest, I'm also a listener, and I freaking love it.
You hear that? You hear that out
So-
there in podcast land?
So anyway, I took some notes on that, and they say that the average law enforcement officer in a career of 25 years sees 720
I saw that.
critical
Yeah.
incidents. And man, that it doesn't matter, like you said, whether it's the drip, drip, drip of seeing the drug-headed mom who fucking goes out to get a high and leaves her baby, her 9-month-old baby,
Yep.
in a car seat, and you've got to peel that baby's diaper off because it's been sitting there for 6, 7, 8 hours, and you're holding this little baby. You are so fucking angry at the person who left her here, and they come in and you just want to kill that person. I mean, I'm not trying to put stuff out there, but wanting to literally kill another human being because you're like, this is a baby. How can you do this to your own child?
Yeah.
And it does. It just builds and it builds and it builds, and it doesn't have to be.
But wait, now you got to come home. You got to go to soccer practice.
Have to function.
Yeah.
You got to talk about school schedules and make dinner and all those things.
And why the Joneses, they got that new garage, and we need to build one like that
It-
because it's perfectly good, and our driveway needs to be resealed, and you need to take care of that.
You know what I think it needs is it needs 2 Mustangs in it.
All right, damn it.
Moving on.
Yeah, I wanted to
I'm
go
feeling
there.
the poking.
I wanted to go there. I really did. But yeah, able to finally like put that behind me, and I was able to be at that point where I could see, hey, it doesn't matter. I went through some really bad shit that nobody was supposed to see. Nobody's supposed to fucking deal with it, and it doesn't matter. I don't have to compare myself to, well, Superman just saved the building from falling over and saved all those wonderful people, and you shit your pants. Great. I realize now that the end game was the same. I was destroying everyone I loved in my life, and being able to finally get to that point and see that, hey, the hardest thing to do, and we tell people all the time, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. Hey, it's okay don't worry, man. The things are gonna be screwed. You're gonna feel bad shit and everything like that. You know the hardest person to tell that to? It's yourself.
Yep.
To tell yourself that, hey, it's okay for you to be a flaming train wreck.
But you know what? Like you get to that point and you realize, well, I got to talk to somebody, right?
Yep.
And then you go, who the hell am I going to talk to? I mean, and again, you can go to a professional, and thank God the professional you saw not only is good, but they're a unicorn in so much as they, this is their niche, right? But but your spouse or your friends that are not on the job, you're like, well, hey, I know we're out here sitting by the pool drinking beers and shooting the shit. Let me tell you about this horrible thing or that horrible thing, or you get
Other
to
than
that
that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Exactly right.
Exactly.
My dad said that all the time.
And I know like one obstacle that jumps to mind is like who the hell do I tell this shit to? Right? Who do I talk to that's not going to look at me like I really am crazy?
Well, that's what got me. And unfortunately,
and I think that hits everybody.
I knew you guys. I knew you guys from the club, man. I knew that I should have been talking to you guys. I knew that I should have been doing that. And by the time that I realized that, dude, I mean, I'm amazed that you want to talk about, we talk about brotherhood. We talk about guys being up on things and being tight. My guys in my MC, there's guys all over the country that I still talk to. And I put some shit out there and I put it out on blast and dishonored not only myself but those guys too. And they still to this day embrace me as a brother. And man, there was a guy that I said some stuff about him and I went after him and he became my target, my anger, my evil, me, what I was seeing in the mirror. He became that person. And if anybody had a right to want me 6 feet in the ground and buried and pissed on the grave, it's him. And that guy, he came back and forgave me and just accepts it, and I'll follow him to hell and back. He has every right to tell me to go piss up a rope. Fuck you, everybody that looks like you. Don't ever come around here again. And he has welcomed me back with open arms and has embraced me as a brother. And man, I hate to be that guy because I am not. Al knows this is not me. I am not touchy-feely. I'm a fucking porcupine that's angry and like you just like smack me in the nuts. Okay, so I don't do
this. Is where we should probably be on YouTube just so we can put a camera on and they go, yeah, I believe that shit.
And for me to be able to talk about feelings and shit like that too, because we don't fucking do that as cops. We're fucking badasses. We don't. Oh, I might need a tampon today because my pooner hurts, and we don't do that shit. You guy next to you catches a ricochet, and you're like, "Suck it up, Buttercup. Let's go. We're going in. Come on." But yeah, that guy should have like just wanted me dead, and that's when I started getting angry again. As weird as it sounded, through therapy, I was like, I started finding out that everybody feels like this. And there's probably people out there listening to this thing right now, and they don't, they're going to have the same epitome, the same epiphany that I had. Was like, dude, where the fuck were you guys? Wait a minute, you're telling me that you felt this? You're telling me that you had these same feelings? You're telling me that you had these same issues? What the fuck? Because now I'm pissed off. I'm like, you knew this was happening. You knew this was going on. You feel the same way, but yet when we line up and we're going to go ahead and we're knocking on a door to go in for something, we know that somebody's got a warrant, or we're going to go do this, and we're going in and pulling somebody out of the cell. All of you looked me in the face and were like, we're good, we're solid. And you didn't tell me that you were fucking scared? You didn't tell me that you were fucking having issues. You didn't tell me any of that. I mean, God, I mean, I think back, going back all the years, if somebody had said, dude, man, this really fucked me up, man. And I look at that now and I'm like, I was just as fucking guilty as they were. I can't hold it against them.
And I'm sitting here listening to you and watching you talk about that, and I'm going, man, same thing. I'm just as guilty. Just as guilty.
Oh, I think everybody.
Well,
everybody that does this.
That's part of the change.
Has done that.
And that's a lot why we do this. But, I mean, man, you're so right that it's so good. I mean,
but
everybody looks everybody in the face. Man, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. You're good.
I'm good. Solid.
But
and you're not.
Since you brought up the whole MC thing, I want to say this because, you're going through your career and, the powers that be always tell you that the being, like mentally healthy, being well is, have friends and have things that are completely outside of the job. You're right. And,
right,
and no. And you know what? I agree with that. Right. I agree with that. Have friends and have things that have nothing to do with the job. But, and I see this and I tell this to because, we're all old farts here. Right. And I say this to younger officers. I say there are groups for us, in you talk about the MC and that's one of the great values that the MC brings. But there are other groups, whether it's a police Masonic lodge or an Emerald Society or something like that, where you're hanging around other people where it's the right chemistry, it's the right bond where you can share those things and you can talk about those things in a, God forbid, I'm actually saying this, a safe space.
I know.
Well, that's the key. I mean, that's the key, though, Al, is it has to be real. I mean, you can be in a group, and you can be in a group that's well-intentioned, but if you're not going to be real about what's going on, then all you're going to do is perpetuate each other's bad coping mechanisms, bad habits. You're going to support the bad shit that they do. You're going to look the other way. You're not going to actually.
You're right. It's a double-edged sword. It can go one way or the other. But
that's where you got to change all that.
So I know there's a lot of guys out there going, I don't want to hear this crap. These guys are talking about blah 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 blah. But it gives us that release that's. I don't have to. I can be around people like me, who think like me, who do like me, who will make sure that I don't do anything stupid and that nothing bad will happen. But I don't have to be on the job.
Well, and you can go and you can have those conversations that have absolutely fuck all nothing to do with the job. And you can laugh and you can joke and you can have a great time and you can get that release. But at the same time, you got people that you trust, you literally trust with your life. Absolutely. On and off the job.
Absolutely.
That if I go, I'm not in a good place. I feel like I can have that conversation and it'll be properly received.
Yeah. And that's what makes the difference, is being able to have that crew that is able to understand everything that you're going through.
And I think that's harder and harder to find on the job.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'm not here to bash any agency or bash anything, but we all see it. Command isn't what it used to be. We've fallen prey to political correctness. We've fallen prey to what society says and what goes on. I'll be honest with you, this is not the job I signed up for 20 years ago. It isn't.
It is night and day difference.
It's not the same thing, and it has nothing to do with the people. I want to help people. I mean, even after all this bullshit, everything I've gone through, I'm still fighting right now. I'm still in federal court right now, fighting an EEOC case, and I'm trying to get my stuff back. I'm trying to get back in. One of the big reasons is, and I'll put it out here, I'm not ashamed to say it, I had to resign from the club, the thing that I loved most in my life. Because we maintain that we have to have law enforcement cadets. You have to either be active or retired in order to do it. I don't have that, and I can't be in there. And I willingly surrendered my stuff, but and thank God you guys are as good as you are for letting me still hang out with you guys and be there and be brothers.
But you know we love you, brother.
I do. But that's like my main goal right now, and is to get back into it. And I'll be honest with you, if they called me up today and said we want you to come back to work, man, that'd be a tough choice because I want to be a cop. That's who I am. That's what I wanted to do for as long as I could think, I remember being a little kid and thinking, that guy there is the coolest guy ever. And still, I mean, I understand. I've had to go through a lot of stuff, and I can understand it too, especially today's environment, man. Trying to hire somebody who's busy suing another agency and been terminated because they have PTSD, and we didn't even get into that whole thing where I was eventually unlawfully terminated because they refused to let me go, even though the department doctor said, no, come back to work. He's okay. You can put him in this position. It would be phenomenal for him. And they decided to terminate me. And what really, really got me is they terminated me by email. Command didn't even have the goddamn
by
stones.
email.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not even the stones to call me in and sit down and say, hey, thank you or whatever, and sorry, but go fuck your mother.
So chicken
shit. They emailed me and said, be advised by this day, and if you come on property after this date, you will be arrested for trespassing.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's where we've
that's
got,
mentality.
Fucking
is.
dick move.
But that's where we've gotten because all this, we care about you. You can, we have an open door policy. You can tell us anything, blah, 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 blah. And the minute you're not...
Ooh, liability raises its head.
Well, the minute you're damaged in some way, and the minute...
Well, that's where it's got to change too. That's unacceptable.
Well,
everybody's going to be damaged in this damn job.
But you have a lot of leadership today. I'm sure going forward we're going to talk a lot more about that. Because that is the thing that none of the talking heads in media and politics are talking about. Well, what are we going to do about law enforcement? You got to look up, not look down.
Yeah, because
up is what sets the tone and tenor for everything.
Sure.
And but how do you get like so we had this conversation in an earlier episode about us looking for jobs back in the day, and it was 2,000 people apply for 10 positions.
Yeah.
And
when I applied,
highly competitive,
right? And now we're trying to hire 20 people and we get 150 applicants, and people are like, woohoo, 150 applicants.
Right.
I was day 3 for the civil service test in New York because they had finally gotten the S's, and there was like 6,800 people in the auditorium taking the test.
Right. So people, why, and maybe the Gen Z people, for all the ball busting I love to do on Gen Z, maybe they're smarter than we are.
No.
Well,
false. No.
We fact-checked that and found that to be false.
According to this test, that is a lie.
Yeah, but you know what? They're not signing up to be cops. So.
Okay, good point. We'll let that. We'll go.
Okay, Al. That is a good point, Al.
Noted.
All right. So.
Then there's that.
Well, Rick, I would like to kind of dive back into, because obviously you have made a big turn from where you were. What were some of the things that, I know you spoke about, I'm sorry, what was the name? Was it Carrie?
Carrie.
Man, I remember. How about that?
It's like you're a cop or something, man.
All right. Shit, I didn't even write it down. I didn't put it in my 007. So, but, aside from Carrie, obviously that was a big pivotal point for you, and that was somebody that was very instrumental in helping you get back on track. What were some of the other things that helped with that? And I know you touched on seeing the psychologist, and that was a big thing. Was there anything else that helped aside from those, or anything else that helped keep you on track?
Wow, I mean that's she was just such a big part of it that I realized that I was able to be happy again. Like, there is actual happiness. There's actual normalcy. You can be a regular person again.
So it was a realization that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. That no matter what shit you went through, there was a point where that was going to lift.
Yeah, and that, I guess that's the realization that you get to. Once you hit rock bottom, you realize there's nowhere else to go. You can only go in one direction at
That's
that
right.
point. And she was able to let me see that, hey, it's okay to hit rock bottom. You're okay to do that. And I'm not judging you for hitting rock bottom, because the things that you've seen, anybody would do that. And she kind of gave me that ability to see past all the things that I'd done, and then I was able to start rebuilding. And I was able to see that yes, you can come out. There are people out here that, even though I thought I had destroyed everything and burned every bridge that I could possibly burn and destroy every single accomplishment that I had, no, people still do believe in you. People still do think that you are valid.
Brother, I think that is so important that people hear that.
It's extremely important.
You know, that was important for me. I mean, I felt like I had burned so many bridges. I had, disappointed so many people, had failed so bad. But you are right. There are still people in your corner. And there will be some that won't be. That is a fact of life. But there are some that will not be in your corner. But there are still so many that are, and that will still support you and still back you up, no matter what you're coming from.
And I think really the people who hate on you the most, the people that really don't want to see you succeed, are the people who are either in the same spot you're on, the same place that you're at, and they don't feel like they can get out, and they want somebody else to stay in the hole with them.
Man,
or
yeah.
Or they're
so true.
Yeah. He doesn't look like he's wise, but he might be.
Smart dude.
or they're jealous that you escaped.
Yeah.
No. It's like,
man,
they don't
so
want
good.
you to succeed, because if they keep someone else down there with them, they're not alone. They're not the only person dealing with it. They're not the only person that's in that evil hole, that person that's doing the destructive shit, the stuff that man, this is just fucking me up even worse. Yeah, hated people that I've really discovered that the people that want to see you not succeed are usually people that are somehow affected by your success. And the more you succeed, the angrier they get. How do I know this? I was that guy. I started hating the people. This guy sitting next to me here in the studio, I saw how he was doing everything that he could have done. It pissed me off, because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm this fucking bad. I don't want to see anybody else be happy in their life, because
I
I'm
can
here.
be a turd sometimes anyway.
And yeah, but
What are you trying to say?
I was say sometimes. No, but yeah, like, and that's kind of the thing, is that you're able to look back and you're able to look at other people and see, dude. I mean, I look back at things, and there were times when I looked at, I had a friend of mine when I was in high school committed suicide, and I hated him. I thought he was a pussy. I thought he was a weakling. I thought he didn't deserve anything, and I wanted nothing to do with him. But now, being in places, I can see that I'm not good with that. But he was in a spot where he thought he couldn't get out of. He was in a spot where he thought there was nothing else left. And God forbid I ever turn my back on anybody that's in that situation. And if nothing else, I mean, this is good, is this kind of like talking this stuff out. A lot of people have asked me and said, dude, why are you telling people this shit? It's good for me. It's very good for me to get this out and be honest. Like, people are like, dude, you're still considering a job in law enforcement. I don't think you want to tell people that you were drinking and doing stupid shit, and you were chasing women, and you were screwing around on your wife, and you were, taking pills and doing all this other stuff. Why would you do that? Because it's good for me. And if an agency, there's still good agencies out there. There's still good bosses. We're blessed with one of them, a local agency who, they've got a great chief, and it's pretty interesting to see that agency doesn't have the morale issues. I mean, everybody's gonna be pissy and moany and doing whatever as a cop, like a bitching.
That's
a bitching
what we
cop,
do.
Yeah, bitching cop is a happy cop. But like it's interesting to see like the other agencies that don't have that morale, but this place does. So I know there's good people out there. I know there's good bosses out there. I know there's good agencies. I know the vast majority of our population absolutely adores law enforcement. And we can't focus on, that's one thing that I had to teach myself, that I was getting very, very angry with people and hated society. But I had to remind myself every single day, and it got to be just over and over and over. I had to tell myself, I'm seeing the worst 1% of our population at their absolute 1% worst of their existence. I'm not seeing everybody out here as a criminal. I'm not seeing everybody out here. What I'm seeing is the very, very worst of our population at their very, very worst. And that helped a lot to get past that and not judge every single person and look at everybody. And I think that's a big problem. But you guys were talking about the mentality of law enforcement. We backed ourselves into this corner where it was an us versus them mentality. We were teaching in our academies, and they're still teaching it today, that everybody's a threat and everybody's trying to kill you. To the point where I literally was with another guy who'd just gotten out of the academy, and this adorable, probably in her mid-70s, little old lady came up to us, and she stuck her hand out and said, I want to thank you gentlemen so much for protecting me. And this guy looked at her and said, I don't shake people's hands. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he's like, well, in the academy they teach us, everybody can be a fucking, you got to be. I'm like, dude, come on.
Great job, RoboCop.
Yeah, like.
Thanks a lot.
We have to remember that we are part of this community. We live here, we work here, we shop here, we do everything here. We are part of it. We are not separate. We are not an invading force. We are not an occupying army that's coming in. We trained our people to be that. And while it is very important to have officer safety, it's very important to be tactically sound. Very important to keep your officer awareness at level 100. You still got to be a human. You still have to have that interaction with people, and you have to understand that not everybody out there is trying to kill you. And if you can do that, we can maybe change all of this, because it's a very, very small fraction.
Well, you don't have to shake hands, but you might have to do a TikTok video just to show your...
Do not make me draw my... I swear to God...
I'm gonna look
You're not going to have to worry
I'm
about alcohol poisoning, but you might have to worry about lead poisoning. I'm saying.
I'm looking the other way.
No, but you're right, and you have everybody expecting us to be something that we're not, and I think there's a whole lot of us that have bought into that.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, to get back to the main thing here, is I just went sideways because I'm perpetuating my Irish stereotype, because Al has provided some phenomenally good bourbon here. I'm just keeping my voice wet.
We felt it was important to keep the podcast appropriately lubricated.
I wanted to keep the dulcet tones of my voice for the podcast. Very important.
That was some Irish bullshit right there.
I like it.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Yeah, if nothing else, this has been very good for me to be able to share and let people know, dude, or dudettes. Sorry, we got some badass cops out there that are ladies that like I'm afraid of, because they're fucking way better cops than I ever was. So I say that, brother or whatever. I mean sister just as much, because there are some, and the little ones, man. Some of the smaller female cops, man, do not piss them off. They will fuck you up sideways.
No doubt.
And like they're badasses, and I respect the shit out of them.
It's like a honey badger.
Yeah, I mean it's like dude, there's some people that I would put on my top 10 badass cops, and I'd say at least 3 of them are females. No doubt, they are my fucking heroes. But yeah, like we need to let people know this is I'm kind of, this is selfish for me. I'm able to come out here and talk about this and get this out. And I hope to God that anybody that's out there, that you're going to feel these things. You're going to be there. Recognize the issues. And it's going to take you a while. You might have to hit bottom. You might have to go through it, man. I mean, how many guys are like, I'm a wife number 3 and, blah, 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 agency number 4 and, whatever. Yeah, it we say it's okay to not be okay, but dude, you're gonna have some bad times. You're going to have some things that you are not going to want to be able to deal with. There's going to be some things that like you want to deal with and you can't. You need to get that. You need to find that person, whether they be, a mental health professional, nobody wants to be judged like that. You don't want to get that out there. You don't want anybody on your squad to know that, holy shit, he needs to be on the rubber gun squad. I don't know if I want him backing me on this one. I get it, but you need to reach out. You need to find somebody. Do it on your own. Go outside the agency if you have to. Talk to your primary care doctor. Find somebody that'll talk, because they can't reveal that shit. It's privileged. It is. It's under there, and God forbid an agency goes after you, fight under that ADA. Those protections are there for you. There's plenty of agencies, there's plenty of groups, there's plenty of places out there that'll do it, but damn, reach out and talk to somebody. Do not think that you're alone. You are not alone. We've all done it. We've all been there. And all you guys out there going, not me, I'm fine. Fuck you, you're going to be there. You're going to hit that one day. You're going to get that thing that's going to smack you in a way that you did not believe you could be smacked. And you're not going to know how to deal with it. But remember, I don't care. Like you said, we all stand there and we all like, yeah, I'm good. I'm badass.
And we're not.
We're not.
No.
We're all struggling with shit that packs up, because nobody's supposed to see the things that we see.
We need to switch over to where, when we say, like you said, we keep saying it's okay to not be okay. We got to actually, live that.
Well,
not
you
just catchphrase
have
it.
to have.
We have to let people know that it truly is.
You have to have agencies that will embrace that in a official way.
Yes.
And those agencies are
and
few
provide the resources for.
But you need to be able to. You need to be able to have your agency know that you're not okay.
Sure.
And not worry about the repercussions.
You don't want them to nail you to the cross and put you out there for it and let everybody else know about it.
And the problem is, those agencies that won't do that are few and far between.
I know. And that's what makes folks not want to talk about what's going on, what's wrong. But, Rick, I definitely appreciate when you say that talking about this helps you.
Huge.
Absolutely.
And that was big for me, because I've had folks ask me, do you really want to talk about this? Yes, I do. A lot of the things are not easy to talk about, because there's things that I've talked about that I'm not proud of, things that I did that I'm not proud of. And it's hard, because you're not proud. You're upset that they happened, but they did. And part of talking is owning it, owning up to it, and really showing the moving forward. That's the biggest part, I think, is the moving forward from it. Yes, I fell pretty hard.
But that's not the end. And you can get back. You can keep going.
Yeah, get back up.
You can maybe even come out better on the other side.
Sure.
Oh, without doubt. And what people have to understand, too, is I know there's people out there thinking this. I'm not making excuses for this shit. Okay?
That's exactly right.
I'm not saying this to say, hey, I cheated on my wife. I was fucking all kinds of girls. I was drinking like crazy. I was taking pills. I was pissing people off. I was, basically waving my dick at command staff. I was alienating everybody. But I have an excuse because, it really wasn't my fault. It was such and no. It was my fault. I own it. It's my cross to bear. But if I don't acknowledge that, if I try to minimize that, if I try to pretend it wasn't as bad as it was, excuse me, I'm lying to myself.
That's right.
And everybody else needs and deserves the truth. And the thing was, I was a horrible person. Now, did I choose to be a horrible person? No, it was because I saw things and dealt with things and had to process things that were just fucked up beyond all belief. And I didn't handle them right. And I knew better. And that's why I'm trying to get this out.
That's so big. I mean, it's it's your truth that might be the message that gets through to somebody.
Well,
that was for me. And that's why I tell folks to listen and listen to these stories, and first responders to listen to them, because you may hear a dozen different stories of folks that went through things, but it might be that 14th or 15th one you heard that for some reason resonates and goes, damn, yeah, okay, and it clicks for you. But that's why it's so important for you to, Rick, to tell your story, for all of us to tell what we've experienced, because it may be yours. And by not minimizing it, by not glazing over what happened, by telling it like it is, that gives the opportunity for it to reach somebody that probably needs to hear it. And I guarantee there's many that need to hear it.
Yeah, and you have the, and I sometimes, because I've heard this, I'm sure you both have heard this before. I experienced this horrible thing or that horrible thing or so forth and so on, and I didn't cheat on my wife. I didn't go out and drink too much. I didn't
drink too much. I drank all of it. All of it.
I can actually say that's true. Okay, that's true.
There was none left.
No matter how fast I drank, those bastards kept making more
Yeah,
faster
and
than I could drink.
It only stopped at a Waffle House.
Oh, if that Waffle House had served liquor, I totally would have had like a bourbon in my coffee. I totally double, please.
This fucker would have lived at a Waffle House.
In a to-go cup.
But
Give me a bourbon and 2 waffles.
But people go, well, I went through this and I went through that and I didn't do that. The thing is, it's all relative.
It is. It is.
It's all relative.
No doubt.
I didn't do any of my relatives. Sorry, that came out completely. Carry on. Edit. Just edit.
I don't know if I'm going to edit that.
Oh, come on, man. That was like and that's, that's one of the things that like a lot of people don't get, and hopefully like the audience gets that. Like, dude, we make fun of shit that we should not make fun of.
Well, that is part of it.
How can you say that? That's not very kind.
Oh man, well that's like the hardest part too, is like telling people who like, after I got out of forced out. Got out like it was my choice. After I was forced out, I actually fell into a great job, civilian sector. And anybody who's thinking close to retirement and they want to pull the pin, fucking do it. It's amazing. Luckily, I had my direct report, my boss, was a Marine vet. He was a Mustang officer. I'm going to put his name out there because he really made me a better person. His name is Miles Sullivan. And he is an Afghanistan vet, and he went through some horrible, horrible things over there. But it was good because he also suffered from PTSD, and he and I connected, and we were able to do that. And there were times when I saw the signs, and I'd be, he'd be all sorts of pissed off, angry, and losing it. And I'd go into his office, and I'd look at him, and I'd be straight up. I'm like, hey, fuck all the other bullshit, dude. You all right? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And I'm like, don't bullshit me. And he's like, no, seriously, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then we do shots. But he would see it too. He would come and see me like that, and like he'd be, doing this thing, and he'd look at me, he's like, hey, dude, you all right? And that meant more to me than you could possibly believe. So he really taught me how to be a better person on the civilian side. Like, there's life after everything that's gone and done with, And I don't want to tell anybody to just go ahead and leave the job. The job will be part of me till the day I die. I still, all the typical cop shit, man. I still sit with my back to the door. I'm still listening to conversations. I'm still watching everybody's hands. I'm still doing all that. But you know what? There's fucking life after this job. And this job was never supposed to be your goddamn life. And I basically got to the point where I let it control my life. And luckily for the grace of the... whatever you guys want to call it, don't want to make it political, don't want to make it religious, God, Shiva, the flying spaghetti monster, whatever the fuck you want to go with. Put a very, very supportive, amazing woman in my life. And I have a soon-to-be 13-year-old stepdaughter at home who I know that I have to be a stronger and better person than I am. And that gives me the strength to keep on going. And there is life after this job. And if you got to walk away from it, there's no damn shame from walking away from it. Because we see things that nobody should see, nobody should have to deal with. And If you're good at it and you love it and it brings you joy more than it brings you pain, stick with it and stick with it, stay with it. Don't let it go. Be the best you possibly can out there. But if you got to walk away, man, walk away. It's there's no shame to that. Anybody who's gone out and been on last out shift and walked in the middle of an alley and middle of dark 30 and the gunshots start going off and you start running towards them, if you've done that once, you've proved yourself to anybody, and you've got nothing to explain and you've got nothing to justify to anybody. You did it, and stay with us. Do not give up. You've got to keep fighting.
Man, Rick, I really do appreciate it.
This has been a great time. I really appreciate everything.
Appreciate you coming on here and telling that.
Thanks for letting me tell it.
Just awesome, man. All right, Al, I think that wraps us up for part 2.
I think it does, and this is the kind of stuff that I want everybody to hear.
This is what we want to focus on.
And if you liked what you heard, if you have feedback on what you heard these last couple episodes, please
I'll come back, I promise.
just let us know. Reach out to us on Facebook, Badge to the Bone. You can also reach us on our website, badgetothebone.com, or we are badgetothebone@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Please go on to Facebook, like us and follow us.
Look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah.
All right. Be safe.
And be well.